but he just made the point right off the bat. He's like, I'm confident. Yesterday I wasn't there. They won. It was whatever. We're gonna win today. That's how it's gonna go. And I mean, so it's like, well then, all right. BMG is coming to play.
Personality, I would say. He's a very straightforward guy. He does what he does what he should, and he's not afraid to take risks. He's just aiming 100% into whatever he does. So it's great to see that he's confident, and of course that also reflects BMG's view on the whole thing.
So, again, though, Sync did win the series 2-0 yesterday, but if you happen to miss that, Xavier wasn't here, Krebsen was here, their sixth man in place, but he is back today, obviously, so these are both of the team's A-plus rosters going at it here. Once again, a lot of money on the line, ultimately really close to $14,000 on this match alone. A difference of $2,500 between the two teams that it's going to be had. But, again, Kay's also making kind of a fun point there that, really, as far as priorities go, the first thing that they want to make a statement of winning this, the money's fun and all, it's great, obviously, but they want to show that they're number one. That's what they're here to prove, that they're number one, because at this point, BMG is still number one. They're coming off both the cards of our victories. Here they are in the grand finals. So this is Sync's chance to kind of make a statement to the Han scene, to BMG of, we are here. This is our time now. We're going to be the new number one team. So obviously they got a lot of momentum in that sense too.
I love the attitude coming out from Kiss for sure. I mean, it's definitely the right way to look at things. The prize money should definitely be in, well, not the first place at least.
Yeah.
And also, like you mentioned, I mean, BMG is coming into this game as being the number one, and during Hunter Season 2, like entire Hunter Season 2, I mean, it was mostly about BMG and Stay Green. I mean, those two teams, they were battling. Sync Esports they always wanted to reach up to that level, but they weren't, unfortunately, not able to do it during Season 2. But now during Season 3, I mean, they have practiced like almost every single day this week, scrimming non-stop, they're streaming, they're active, they are ready, and no one wants this more than Sync Esports right now.
100% agree with you. We knew that kind of coming into it, and they are in, obviously, once again, a good spot. They're up 1-0, but as I was talking about yesterday, I believe, I mean, in this last season, we at least had 3 or 4 times where the losers bracket team ended up winning the grand finals. It's very possible, including BMG. They might have happened maybe even twice for them against State Green. So it's definitely very possible. Sure, the 1-0 advantage hurts, but especially if you take the first game, I mean, it goes back to basically a best of 3 reset at 0-0. You can look at it that way too. So anyways, enough about all that hype. Let's take a closer look as far as game number 1 here and what the hell is actually going on. The initial bans, it was Bubbles, Swiftblade, Ophelia, and Cthulhu Font coming out. How about that first pick though from Sync? They get the Revenant. It's fun, man. Where we're at with these heroes, I swear. How Revenant is the first pick in our Sync versus BMG matchup. I would not have guessed that last week.
No, not at all. Not even on a map. Like, I'm still surprised that they're actually risking this kind of first game here and going for that Revenant, because he is kind of easy to counter if you play it correct. And Hanskin was pretty fast as well as snap picking that Parasite off as soon as he saw the Revenant. So yeah, both teams definitely very confident in the kind of lineups, and already, I mean, you can tell, not even by, or even if the names were not there, I mean, you could tell who was Sync Esports and BMG, so both teams definitely sticking to their personalities, and it's great to see.
Indeed it is. You see the Monkey King being banned with that final ban. Mickey has played Monkey King once or twice in this cycle, I believe, and including it over recent gaming. That game number 1, that was an epic. It had went for a while, or I think it was a game 2. But anyways, they took that game in the end, but he did play a Monkey King there. So showing some respect to that. Pharaoh, Drunken Master, Puppet Master, Tempest, the Madman, and Monkey King were the overall 6 bans to follow. And now we see a Dr. Repulsor coming out from Sync. This is the makings of a very, very aggressive lineup here from Sync. You're Revenant that first pick, now a Doctor carry. As their carry choice, Flensmeister very comfortable with that hero. So Sync, yeah, making it pretty clear as far as what their intentions are going to be here this game.
I'm surprised that we do not see a prisoner ban, not even in the blind bans, or not even in the second section of the bans. I mean, we see the prisoner. I mean, Subkeji was playing it so, I mean, almost close to perfection yesterday, and he's not only good against the Revenant, which his second spell gives clear vision, so Revenant can't go invis, but also Dr. Repulsor is going to struggle quite a bit if they were to pick up the prisoner here.
Mm-hmm. Huh, that's a good
And,
point. Yeah, with that shackle, could be a pretty solid.
so yeah, and also Kraken. I mean, he can't even tsunami charge away. So Prisoner, I would say that's a pretty good pick here for BMG.
I will say this too, though. Super KGE, I mean, he's known for playing those hook heroes throughout Season 2, especially and everything, but he's been actually doing pretty well on different heroes, not the non-hook heroes, on top of, obviously, still doing good with those. He's really been showing his versatility as far as just being a very, very good ganking style of player in general. And, of course, that Revenant match is the one that really stands out, amongst others, of course, Riptide even, the last series, as we were talking about against Willowkeeper there. So we'll see if that's what it ends up being in the end, but Chipper going to be coming out for BMG. So a lot of bursts there, Exhibit. The Exhibit Chipper, very possible here.
Today is here. Well, I'm not to say that Jonas and Fad didn't do an excellent job on him yesterday, but Sibbe is the #1 player when it comes to Chipper, and I'm sure that he will take that role today.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Or at least I hope so. But yeah, it could be either way.
I mean, yeah. Jonas the Fan is obviously a great Chipper player as well, so in fact, that's right. He did play the Chipper for them against Sync Sports the first time, so.
Where do we stand on Riptide, by the way? Was he banned, or was he just simply not picked?
Whoa! What? This does not. I mean, wow. Balfagor, your typical push hero for a very niche in that sense, but this doesn't look like a crazy push lineup. I mean, it's just Balfagor. Like,
alright,
well,
something? I know
something?
that Kisu has been experimenting a bit with the hero. He can actually be run in the forest nowadays, but
Yeah.
since it's Kisu who's playing it, I would assume that it's Suicide. And I know that it works. There has been some, I think it's Twisted Fusion, a team that, were very active at least. I'm not sure if they're still playing, but they used to be very active, and they used to run this all the time, the Balfagor Suicide, and they had some success with it.
I was just
Yeah,
just trying to get too ahead. He hasn't readied up yet, so they still could actually swap things around. That wouldn't be
that's true.
surprising.
It's actually a very, very smart move not to swap up the heroes until BMG has made their final pick, because they can actually, trick them into going for a different hero, for example.
And there we go. We have another hero that has not been seen in Cycle 1 here in the Grand Finals. Magebane, the final pick, and it's being played by Jonas Fan. Now that's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Jonas Fan not typically their carry player, especially, but he's going to be the one playing the Magebane here.
It's the Chipper factor.
Yeah, that's true.
is.
Because it's the Zimage. It's like he's just too good on that hero to not let him play it. And again, Jonas Fan, no doubt, a very good player all around, so he can handle the role just fine. But it is still a little bit odd seeing that on top of it. But I mean, what do you think about that, though? Not only who's playing it, but the hero itself. Well, why do you think they win Magebane here?
I think it's because of the Dr. Repulsor, actually. Even though Magebane not necessarily the best hero in terms of team fighting against him, but still, if he does not have his BKB up, or wait, does it actually go through BKB? I'm not sure. His ultimate, at least. Dr. Repulsor is one of the heroes in the game who has the largest mana pool out there, so if Swiftblade uses that mana burn, or his ultimate that deals damage based on how much mana the hero is actually missing, that's like an instant kill on a hero like Dr. Repulsor.
Yeah. We kind of joked about the whole Oogie game where with the Tralfadar and Oogie going up against the Magebane. It's that very similar idea, obviously, with the Dr. Repulsor, where, you get him low on the mana, as you pointed out. He has a very high potential for having a lot of mana, and that could be useful. So perhaps that is where it's come down to. Now, I believe the stun is superior magic, but obviously the damage itself is just straight up magic.
Okay.
But
look at this, he's actually running Suicide Magebane here.
What?
Yeah, it's a Suicide Magebane with dual mid, with Chipper and Rhapsody. Okay, we've got him a remake.
Yeah,
here.
well, I was looking at the remake, too, because they... okay, yeah, again, these two teams, they respect each other, and they know each other and everything. I think Hanskin accidentally leveled up stats first, as far as his first ability went, so that's why he asked for the remake. Yeah, Parasite stats first, not usually the best build, so...
No, that's probably going to change the outcome of the game, no? But that can result in several things. Like, first of all, he has to stand AFK at the lane for like 1-2 minutes, and after that, I mean, he's already late for rune control and all the ganking. So of course, I mean, it's expected of Sync to actually be fair here. I mean, these guys, they were joking around so much in chat during the draft and before the game, like, just they know each other so well, and they're in this for not, like Kiesa said, not for the money, but
Yeah.
it's the pride, and they love to play the game.
Well, yeah, I think that's very important to know right there. Again, that's just even more evidence that exactly they're here to really make a statement. Because sure, they could have said, no remake, and they had every right to say that. I mean, that was not their fault that he misclicked. They could have said that, but then there would have been this asterisk of like they win this game, they win the series, then perhaps. Well, what about when Parasite leveled up stats level 1? I mean, come on, they don't really deserve that win. Sure, they get the money, but BMG is still number 1. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and I'm sure a lot of people do out there as well, and obviously BMG does. So here we are with the remake. Bring back the screen here. Obviously, you're not missing too much. Don't mind the bands, the artillery band coming out there, but obviously with the remake, just want to fly through this, and hopefully they pick the correct heroes. This is always a very kind of crossing my fingers. let's not screw this up, guys. But they've had experience doing this. But yeah, so a Suicide Magebane. I mean, that was one thing. Balfagor again being played by Keizu here. What is going to happen, man?
Very, very odd. But I guess the reasoning behind this, I don't think this is what they planned, but I simply think it's a response to the Balfagor pick. Magma's Lava Surge is incredibly effective against those minions of Balfagor. So
Yeah.
I think he can clean them up very,
That's true.
much easier than Magebane would have been able to. So maybe it's just, they're thinking that maybe Magebane doesn't necessarily need a free farm. I mean, he can do fairly well against Dr. Repulsor. Not sure about that though, but I mean, at least he's going to get experience, and he can recover if he goes for the Rune Cleaver.
All right. In game, here we go. Looks like we actually are good this time around. And yes, he actually got infest here. So, okay. So into the lanes we go again. The Suicide Magebane. Oh, he actually changed up the skin too. He's using the Star Wars skin the first game. But anyways.
Yeah, I think he's going to give away a ward as well. I'm not sure if Sinkisport actually counter-warded one last game. I think so. Because as you see, Parasite is running in there, and he's going to give a ward away to Sinkisports.
That's pretty good. I love it. So yeah, clearly just some fun mind games. You know, this kind of reminds me. We had a situation. I think it was like one of the Dream Hacks where it was Nova and his. I think it might have been Q Squad actually, way back when, where they actually had to remake after he got bloodlusted. But they said sure we'll remake, and he just ran into them and gave them the bloodlust kill again, being like, okay, I mean you bloodlusted me, that's fair. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it up, and it was kind of trollish like that. So. Having some fun. It is a game after all, and I always like to bring that up. And it's glad to see things like that because again, it is really a game in the end. Sure, they're playing for a lot of money and whatnot in front of thousands of viewers, but have fun with it. So, but the game does go on, of course. So yes, that ward does get countered, as you see right there. And then another ward aside actually going in the Kongor pit area. This is going to be to try to prevent any ganks from happening in that mid lane, of course. For Sync.
I would assume so. Seal Kid is the one placing it. A pretty odd one. I mean, sure, they're not necessarily coming any ganks from that way, but at least they got rune control by it, or they can see the rune. But yeah, I would have preferred to see that rune, or that ward actually on the top lane instead, to see what kind of runes that Balfagor is going to be picking up.
Yeah.
But I guess it could be for the Glacius. I mean, they're not sure whether or not he's... Oh, wait. Oh, support Revenant as well.
Yeah,
okay.
I just saw that too. Yeah, it's Lapped playing Revenant. So Revenant has been seen played as that carry role lately, or not even carry, but more like a very aggressive farming role at least. But yeah, going to be playing secondary support here instead. So, I mean, still has very good potential to do that, of course. I mean, this is where he started, actually, before they realized that it seemed like that he could be such a strong farming hero, too. But
oh, maybe actually they are going with this like a little bit of a forest revenant in a way because of that mortification that is so good in cleaning stacks. Maybe Slapped, who's a very or a good forest player, he's gonna stack it up and then try to get as much golden experience from that as possible, while Kraken is doing his job in the mid, so to say.
Well then, Magebane, you see down here again playing the Suicide Magebane. Not many chances we would get to say that, but BMG gonna go with it right here. And, obviously he has the getaway with the flash, so by all means fine there. But Glacius is very strong against a hero like Magebane. With that said, I mean, you've got, of course, the Ice Imprisonment to keep him in place from blinking away, so that could come into play as the game progresses, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be the number one support actually to deal with the Magebane. Very, very good hero. against him. I mean, he is gonna melt as soon as Mage Bane get his BKB and all that stuff, but I mean,
course,
that
yeah.
would go for every single support, more or less. So,
Take some
yeah.
time. But as you're pretty confident, though, that he would probably get the Rune Cleaver here, even being a Suicide Mage Bane and everything?
like, I know that Magnus is pretty good at cleaning his stacks, and it kind of depends on where they want to take this game. If they want to run him as a hard carry and aim towards that late game, or if they just want to speed it up as soon as they get pull key on Magnus and Shipper gets his like tablet or whatever he's choosing to go for. But yeah, it comes down to like their preferences and what they're aiming for. I mean, he could go for the Steam Boots in the Energizer as well and just roll from there, see what he prefers, but I don't know. I mean, they don't necessarily have the best of carries in their team, so to say. I mean, they only have the Mage Bane. I mean, Parasite could work, Shipper could work, but you know, as soon as BKB is going to pop on Dr. Repulsor, for example, they're not going to be able to say much.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where it comes, fan.
Yeah, it's very tough to say from now at least, so we'll just have to wait and see where it turns it. It kind of depends on the laning phase as well. I mean, how much he's actually going to be able to get out of this.
I was going to say, too, it could even very likely be one of those cases of he might not even know right now. Just simply, you know, play it by ear and kind of see how the farm goes and whatnot and go from there as far as how the game progresses, of course. You see at the top lane, Super KG talked about Magnus being pretty good against Balfgard on those minions. I mean, he is taking advantage of that. He's constantly doing a lot of harassment, taking advantage of that level 2 Volcanic Touch right here. So Balfgard at the same time, yeah, I'm sure he's getting some okay creep from 9-2. Magnus is 19-5 though at this top lane. So a Suicide Balfagor against a short lane Magnus, again, that itself is just pretty crazy to even see, but it is what it is, and Magnus is easily winning the lane. I mean, so is that surprising that Balfagor maybe not doing as good as you would expect, or?
I think this is a matter of BMG actually trolling with them, because Balfagor did not expect a Magnus up here, so Magnus got the Logos Hatchet and can easily outlast hit Balfagor, who doesn't have a Logos Hatchet on only that Iron Shield.
Okay.
So yeah, BMG playing those mind tricks on Sync Esports, already winning them quite some, yeah, getting them into a little bit of an advantage here in the early game.
Xibby on Chipper. He too is having a pretty good time here in the middle lane. 21-10. You got Kraken, who's 8-0 currently. So safe to say Xibby is having a very good time, and definitely good news there for BMG. And then of course there's Parasite. Hanskin on the Parasite. He's not doing too shabby, about 190 gold per minute. So a pretty slow start here, but ideally we'll start picking up, of course. Hasn't really found a gank attempt just yet. He was in the middle lane. He was actually getting harassed a little bit in the middle lane as he was running through the towers and everything, but obviously he did survive. And back to farm he's going. So not really looking, for the time being at least, for any kill attempts. Bottom lane, what's going on down here? Actually, Mage Bane going to be pulled in now again. He does have the flash, of course. Going to use it, will be fine. But once Dr. Pulsar hits level 6 especially, he'll need to be very careful about being down
I think he
here.
has to leave the lane by that time, so maybe they should swap it up and send Magnus to something else, like to Suicide or something, I don't know. Kind of depends on what they want to focus on, if they want to get the pull kill on Magnus, but I mean, Mage Bane is not going to stand a chance down there, so he has to transition as soon as Dr. Pulsar hits that level 6.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a first blood. But also one thing that's very, very scary if you're Sync Esports is the fact that BMG were so confident with playing the Parasite even before he got those huge buffs in the latest patch. So Hanskin is definitely an expert on this hero.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that he's been toying around with, oh, actually, bottom lane, Glacius.
Yep. Glacius in trouble. One more auto attack gets the kill. Hanskin actually gets credit for the Bloodlust on Parasite, and he'll just continue to farm. Picks up a Pastula right there, but that's pretty big too because Jonas Fan getting the assist credit at least, and they get the Bloodlust kill outright. Now they're going to move towards the middle lane, actually. This could be something. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Balfgor going for killing a Magnus. Hella Neworth going to be used right there, or Garbage Neworth, whatever you want to call it, and does not get the kill, though. Back to the middle lane. Kraken, he's trying to get away. Not going to happen, though. So BMG turning it on early now. Getting the Bloodlust bottom and then rotating mid. To pick up the kill, and the kill the Courier. That is huge, too. Mage Bane picks it off. Oh, geez. Sync Esports. Several things just not going their way right there. Well played by BMG.
Yeah, that's a huge swing in their favor, and like looking at this, I mean, how are you going to transition if you're Sync Esports? Are you going to stick with the Kraken and Glacius in the mid? I feel like their main priority right now should be to get BMG and that Parasite out of their forest.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are cleaning up stacks here at the moment, at least. But yeah, having Beam or Hanskin in there, I mean, if he hits level 6, that could actually result in a kill on Dr. Pulsar, especially if Mage Bane was probably pretty close to his 6. Oh, wow, he's initiating on the bot
Mage
lane, though.
Bane. There we go. Jumping into Sledgemasher. Yep, picks up the kill. That's exactly what we were talking about. As soon as he hit level 6, Mage Bane was going to need to be careful. Wasn't careful enough. Gets killed. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Rockets continuing to come out. At the top lane, Super KG gets the kill. Looks like Ultimate was used by Palfagor, but it wasn't enough to get a kill himself, so he was diving. Down goes Kraken right there as the chainsaws are used coming out. Parasite getting caught by the Ice Imprisonment. Revenant only level 2, but more dangerously, Dr. Pulsar level 7, and this should be a pick on a Parasite as well. So at least a kill in the end for Sync Esports, and 2 in total for Flensmeister there. So he himself is actually doing pretty good after all of that. But the big picture, BMG having some pretty big kills across the board for them there. Including that top lane.
Definitely, Sync Esports are having the farm on the right hero. I mean, Dr. Pulsar is one of those heroes that farm incredibly fast as soon as he gets his very first item, if that is what he chooses to go for, of course. I mean, there are different kind of build styles. If he wants to go for an icon of the Goddess, for example, focusing on a team fight, or if he just wants to go for a light burn into Grimoire, or something completely different like a Hellflower first. I mean, it's all up to him, and it's going to be very interesting to see what they're actually aiming for.
See bottom lane here. Look at this gank attempt coming out. Level 7 Dr. Pulsar coming in with the Invis. The pull's going to happen. And Mage Bane, when he least expected it, the silence from Balfagor. That's not something to underrate right there. That demonic pathogen, it lasts up to 3.5 seconds at level 4, even 2 seconds at level 1, and it spreads, obviously, from hero to hero. So that's one of those abilities. You know, you think Balfagor, you think of just minions and push, the ultimate even. But the demonic pathogen, also a very powerful tool for heroes, well, like Mage Bane right there. Not able to blink away. So good gank, and here comes the push from Sync Esports. Thanks to Balfagor.
Already level 7, and yeah, like you said, that silence is definitely something that you shouldn't look. And is BMG actually going to be able to push this off? Yeah, it seems like Sync Esports are going to retreat for the moment. Okay, that's good, at least for them. But yeah, I mean, the Mage Bane, I would have liked to see him transition to the top lane as soon as Dr. Pulsar hit level 6. Instead, he stays down there and he gets punished for it 2 times in a row, just like that. And he still is down here. I mean, there could be an Invis now from Sync Esports once again, and they could just do the same thing again. But unfortunately, or luckily for him, that's not happening. But it could, and it's risky to be down here.
Yeah. You see middle lane, Chipper actually falling back, feeling pretty scared right there. Oh, well, he's using the illusion, I guess, as far as trying to bait something out, but nothing's really coming. So, in the end, probably will just show himself and actually just continue to farm as he does right there. You do see the warrior side from them, actually,
bottom.
on the ramp. What's going on bottom? Oh, yeah, they're going to chase the Mage Bane. No, we got the blink off in time. I mean, if he got caught there, that was very, very likely a kill because, once again, the silence to follow up the initial stun from Dr. Pulsar very likely could have been enough. So, good reaction from Jonas fan right there, but this tower, he's not going to really be able to defend this as much as he would like to, so that will result in a tower kill. Middle lane in the meantime, Sync Esports, wouldn't be surprised if they look to defend this. Parasite nearby, he finds Glacius, he's going to go for the kill, the rocket, no, it misses. The second rocket with it, though, will that be enough for the actual kill? Yes, it will, but at what cost here? Parasite now in trouble, Dr. Pulsar coming in, he just had enough mana for the magnetic contraption, and Parasite will fall as a result. So, well played right there, or the opposite charges even. But anyways, well played by Sync Esports for a response. Ganska getting a little too eager for that kill.
Nice response by Flensmeister, carrying that TP and using it immediately as soon as Glacius is in trouble. So definitely favorable trade for Sync Esports right there. And I mean, as long as Dr. Pulsar keeps up his farm, I think Sync Esports is actually in a pretty good position.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good as far as overall where they're at. Again, Kizu on the suicide Balfagor. You think Balfagor just as a, like I said, niche hero, you put him in a push lineup, but at the same time, it's also, he is a lot of that push. I mean, you put him in push lineups because he himself provides so much with the minions and everything else. His regurgitate's obviously very good for helping to push in the creep waves, but so him by himself though is still plenty is where I'm getting at, as we kind of saw at that bottom lane. So there's definitely something to this running up Balfagor with not really the intention of running an outright push strategy, as Sync and KZ specifically is most certainly showing here. Super KG does pick up the top tower. With that said, Port's coming to the middle lane. There is going to be a fight right here. No chainsaws just yet. They catch Parasite off to the side. He will fall before the fight even starts right here. And does that mean BMG is going to fall back? It looks like they're just going to hug the tower for the time being. Super KG thinking about it. He is close to the portal key, though, and doesn't want to risk dying, I'm sure. As a result, this is still a fight, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if BMG is actually, like, if they should take this. I mean, Magebane is not going to be able to do much for his team at this point, and Magnus does not have a full key, so they don't necessarily have a... Oh my, they're going.
There we go, Belfagor! You say tanky? No, not tanky enough. Chain cells come out, the burst damage, obviously Xibia had plenty of that. That started with the Lava Surge, so they get the pick, and they easily save the tower. That actually works out very well for BMG.
Very well coordinated by Magnus and Shipper, getting rid of those creeps at the same time with the Lava Surge, and just allowing all the rockets to hit face on the Balfagor. Beautifully played by BMG.
Yeah. 12 minutes into the game, so what was it? Maybe a decent situation for Sync. All of a sudden, BMG looking pretty strong themselves. 3,000 gold lead, 4,500 experience lead now. And like I was just talking about, too, Super KGE, that very key moment, not only the portal key, but he's also pretty close to level 11, I'm sure. And they're going to come pretty close, if not on top of one another, and that's obviously huge for a Magnus hero. So he gets enough gold right there. Probably going to purchase it and send it out. Maybe just pick it up from the side shop, in fact. But he is going to have that here.
I think Sync Esports have been playing very well themselves. I mean, definitely the right decision to team up like they did there in the mid lane, because they know that when that Magnus level 11 and the portal key timing hits, then there's no way that they can actually do that for quite some time. So I like the initiative. Unfortunately, Balfagor was a little bit far ahead from his teammates, and yeah, got picked off. So they are going to try it again, but I mean, the portal key, it is here. He's not level 11, but still a level 6 ultimate or a level 1 ultimate. It can still deal some damage.
Yeah. I will say, Mickey on Kraken, he's been very quiet. Usually just a player in general that we say his name once or twice early on in the game, even throughout. You haven't mentioned it once, though. Here we are, 13 minutes in, up until now, of course, and for the wrong reasons. He's just not really having a huge impact. Only 230 gold per minute, 1, 2, and 2, as far as his Kraken play is concerned. So he's going to try to, I'm sure, farm up that portal key here eventually, but still needs some more time, even.
I think it comes down to the Revenant, actually. The fact that usually he's teamed up with... Magebane is in a little bit of an awkward spot, I would say. No silence attempting, though. Hasted Magnus running in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, he had the team support coming, so he's like, if anything, just jump me, please, because I got my teammate backing me up, and I know that they'll be here in time. So Balfagor doesn't fall for it, though. That's more so good patience from Sync. Not taking the bait right there. But as you saw right there, speaking of Mickey, Quincy pointing out, he leads everyone in assists per game right now. So again, very, very involved player usually. Not so much here so far in game number 1. Here we go down the middle lane, though. Balfagor going to be chopped once again. He is tanky. The Mana Rift doing nothing, basically. Out comes the ultimate, the Hell on New Earth, and the turnaround potential. Somehow nobody died just yet. It looks like, as I say that, though, finally Parasite falls, but it's not over just yet. BMG still wants something to happen. Magnus out. Magnus going to fall. The protector that it was canceled immediately. I don't know what canceled it, but somehow it got canceled immediately. Dr. Repulsor falls though. Xibia gets a double tap. Magebane trying to blink away will be fine, but look at Xibia. He's on a streak. He gets a hat trick. He may get a quad kill right here. He's going to chase down Glacius. Doesn't have enough mana for the rocket. Has a power supply. Doesn't look like he's going to get it in the end, though. He will be fine with the hat trick. So thank God for Xibia there for BMG, or else that would have been all Sync Esports.
I just figured something out, or I just noticed something as well. Insania, his build on Glacius, he does not have a single level in Tundra Blast.
Wow, that is interesting. Huh.
I'm not sure about the reasoning, though. I mean, since they are seeking a lot of team fights, you would think that maxing the Tundra Blast would be the best choice, because, yeah, that deals a lot of AoE damage, but actually going with Ice Imprison and Mana Aura, I mean, sure, it's good for Dr. Repulsor, but at least one level in the slow would maybe be to be recommended.
Yeah. That is very, very noteworthy to bring up. I mean, hell, even getting the ultimate over leveling it up. I mean, the ultimate's obviously, at the same time, pretty strong if you're able to channel at least even a short amount. But ever since that aura change, that's actually middle lane, Magma's going to be picked up right here. Silence assisting with that. Mainly the reason why they got the kill in the first place wasn't able to stun away or anything. So, well played right there. And they will finally get this middle tower. Will Sync Esports. But yeah, ever since the aura change a couple patches back on Glacius, it seems like that has been getting more and more attention. And the idea of even maxing out that aura, hell, in this case, possibly before even touching Tundra Blast.
Yeah, I know he got enough mana to use the Ice Imprison like 5 times. Yeah. But is that really, where you want to take it?
Well, I mean, having heroes like Kraken, like Balfagor, who could use mana, but, usually don't have the most base mana pool. I mean, I guess in that logic, it kind of makes sense. But it's definitely very, very debatable. Yeah. It's not like this is.
I definitely think that you should get levels in your aura, but I just feel like not maxing out the Ice Imprison would be the right decision. Maybe put 2 levels in Tundra Blast and keep the Ice Imprison level 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you have a little bit of everything. I mean, you just need a lockdown more or less for the Parasite creep, and yeah.
Yeah.
to shut them down for a little bit with the lockdown, and then just, yeah, it's debatable, but yeah, I guess. I mean, Insane knows what he's doing, so I guess he got a plan behind
2100 MMR after all, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are we to
Number
critique
one on
him?
the ladder.
Shout out to Waza, by the way, the lead designer in Heroes of New Earth, or one of the designers, I should say. Obviously known as Balanced Guy and takes care of a lot of those changes, so he's having some good discussions in chat, it looks like. Always good to see that involvement. Back to the top lane, though. Glacius, he sees both Magmus and Parasite. And actually, Parasite and Magmus both are going to fall back, so something just kind of kicked in. I guess Kraken also not pushing probably helped with that. And nothing really going to come of that in the end. So, Magebane, he's slowly but surely working his way up there. He's about 300 gold per minute now. Again, this was a suicide Magebane. If you happen to be just tuning in and being like, wait, why is Magebane so underfarmed? Well, he was a suicide Magebane, so that's kind of understandable there. But he's got the Energizer, we got the Teacher, he just finished the Power Splash. A lot of build-up here with the Steam Boots, in fact. It's also level out. And so, pretty good start here in that sense. Is going to, go for the more heavy-hitting items / farming items, I'm sure, now. As things
I'm
pick
still
up.
curious for why they keep having Magebane down here. I mean, there's plenty of farm at the top lane, and Magnus already has that level 11 and the portal key. It feels like prioritizing the farm on Magebane should be better. Magnus is also a better hero and actually cleaning stacks and actions, so maybe swap those two heroes up?
Could safely argue that. What about a couple of interesting item choices here? For one, Chipper getting the Astrolabe following the tablet.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're just like this hero, or I mean, not this hero, but I mean, this game is going to be filled with action-packed early team fighting, and we need one. So I mean, you got some farm, 425 GPM actually, not shabby at all. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it up for the team.
All right.
More of a more like that, I would say.
Also,
doesn't necessarily scales too well with the hero, but it's just a team fight item that's good to have.
Uh-oh, Magebane, okay, he actually blinks in time. The Revor spotted Balfour, that's why. Oh man, that was pretty good, because if it wasn't for that Revor that just happens to be there from earlier, then he probably would have been dead, as Balfour and Revenant were collapsing on top of him, so.
Yeah, they've actually kept that ward down there ever since Magebane got picked off those 2 times in the beginning. Silket has constantly been placing a new one, and that's just simply because of the Revenant, the Invis, that they're not going to be able to sneak behind.
Top lane, Dr. Pulse looking for a counter kill. Parasite's going to end up falling as a result. Even Glacial Tampor used in the face, so that got a backfire. But Magnus, he wants to make something happen. He goes into Glacius, but then quickly falls back, as the team support wasn't really there. So BMG, I don't know about this whole decision as, oh geez, Rhapsody's going to end up falling. Yeah, he got massively creep blocked right there, and obviously Balfour also assisting.
Yeah, playing so well with minions, blocking him off.
They're still hanging around though, man. I mean, they want to make something happen here. Even 3 versus 5. Magmus, Super KGE, he is ballsy. Magebane going to the background. They want to kill Dr. Impulsor. Oh, he couldn't get the mana rift off, though. He's going to be locked in initially. Down goes Magmus. He still wants the kill. Dr. Impulsor has no mana. Hell on New Earth coming out. The Magebane, he has to blink away. He can't commit anymore. Will he be fine in the end? There's the Astrolabe use. And we do see a port in from Parasite, so he's back in the fight. He doesn't have face lock just yet. Gonna use a Lich Mage. It doesn't. The mana rift on a Revenant, doing some good AoE damage. It takes him out as well, but at what cost here? Magebane. Oh, the focus buffer at the last second to save the day. Parasite takes over a soldier and is going to try to run away, has to come out of it, and now they're going once again. BMG some way, somehow, doing just enough to barely get kills and stay alive themselves. Wow. I mean, the whole decision in the first place to go was just so risky, but they somehow make it actually kind of work.
That fight lasted forever. I mean, Parasite even died in the beginning of the fight, actually came back and was fighting once again. And I can tell you guys one thing, that if you guys want to learn how to position yourself correct in team fighting, I mean, you should download replay and look at Sibba right there, because he was standing behind all that time, hitting his rockets on every single target. He was using the Astro, he was using the tablet to support his team, and he just did... Yeah, he was a big part of why BMG was successful in that team fight.
Yeah.
So, big props to him.
Wow, wow, wow. So BMG, Xibbe, speaking of him once again, 2,200 gold saved up. Not spending it actually just yet. I was kind of curious if we were going to see something like that portal key on him, but choosing to kind of sit on that gold for now. So we'll see what he does go for in the end. But yeah, how about that focus buffer too? The 500 magic damage it absorbs at level 4. It's not even level 4 yet, but that was no doubt the big key why Magebane was able to live right there. So again, just great assistance teamwork as well as helping to pick up kills. At the top lane, Sync is pretty intent on pushing this in once again. Look at where they're going, though. Yep, they know Magnus is up here. He's going to use the Steam Bath. They don't have vision. Yes, they do. Rev4 comes down. He's going to be pulled in. Protect him. Melody will help save. It's going to be a full duration. This is a huge chance for BMG now. The Eruption Channel. The Eruption. No, he couldn't get it off. The charge from Kraken stops it. Hell, I knew it. We're fighting in the trees, baby. And it's working out for BMG, it seems like, in the end. Maybe. No, Magnus goes down from Balthagor, but the chase continues. Revenant goes down as well. Doctor's obviously dead right now. Balthagor, he's going to try to hold his ground, but he needs to start running away because he is in a lot of trouble, and I don't think he's going to be able to. He's out of mana currently. That will do it for Balthagor. Guess who's still up here? Kraken. Mickey's still waiting. He's like, okay, you know what? It's not going to work. I need to port out, as he does. Wow. These fights, man.
Fight in the forest. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a team fight up there.
Yeah.
But that kind of not in that kind of situation as well. But very creative, I think, Esport, trying to find that Magnus, and very, very good patience by Super KG, because even though Dr. Repulsor, I think it was Kraken and Glacius, he got frozen. He could have used his Lava Surge before that, but he was patiently waiting because he knew that Silkid was in position to use that protected melody, and he baited the entire Sync Esport team into that trap, and just beautiful setup. So these teams, I mean, they are playing at their best at this point.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Rhapsody is BMG's go-to hero as far as win rate goes. I think Empath also might be up there, but their support option seems to really dictate how powerful they are, you know, whether or not the wins really kick in. So, but Sealkid Rhapsody, you think of a hero that he just really shines at. Obviously, that's one that definitely stands out and probably his go-to right now. So, no doubt, but continuing to make some big plays right there. Dr. Repulsor, yeah, his farm 362 gold per minute is, you know, as Quincy pointing out there, you kind of consider that low because his average is usually around 524 for the victory that they get. So it's definitely needing to try to pick up that farm. I mean, he's still trying to finish a Hellflower. That's pretty significant. He will be able to pick up a regen rune, though, and obviously a very, very powerful rune on him to hopefully help him farm a little bit more efficiently. Granted, there's no jungle creeps currently, so this is, we'll see if he's able to make the most use of that in the end. But he does get the third Hellflower, right, or the third Arcana for the Hellflower.
That's
there.
great. That's going to help him quite a lot. But I'm still very I'm still very questionable about that item decision. It's great that he has the Hellflower finish now, but I mean, if you look at it as a whole, I mean, Sync Esports are the ones that are mostly been seeking those team fights, and he knew by the lineups that there were going to be a lot of team fighting. So going for that squishy item, I mean, he has died 2 times now. If you would have gone for Icon instead, I mean, that's definitely the item you would prefer to have in these kind of team fight situations.
Oh, yeah.
But at least going for a farm item, so well. But I wouldn't want to take any team fights now if I were Sync Esports for quite some time. I mean, they need to prioritize farm and get a BKB up on him. But yeah, what do you think about the late game situation right now? I mean, do you think this is just a time question before BMG and that Mage Pen is going to be fat enough, or do you think that Sync Esports actually can?
Well, I mean, we say late game, you say it very like. Not too, because I guess what I'm getting at is Mage Band, he's just got an Abyssal Skull. This is not a Mage Band that's been priority farm from the very beginning, so it will take a bit of time. Yes, the absolute late game, if you're talking about full slot, I think BMG, you gotta lean towards them, specifically because of that Mage Bane. But with where the game's at, I still think Sync has a bit of a window here to not necessarily panic as if they really need to push it in, because again, Mage Bane, he just got the Abyssal Skull. A Shrunken Head will be huge, but even when he gets that, still his farm isn't necessarily going to be skyrocketing by any means. So I give Sync maybe a good 10 to 15 minute here window before they maybe seem to start really thinking about, okay, now we need to start kicking it in because Mage Man is going to start getting really fat. So maybe about 40-minute mark.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think you're correct in that statement. There is going to be a time window, but since they got a Hellflower now on Doctor, I feel like they need a BKB before they can take those team fights, or they can push into enemy territory. But once they got that, they really need to make a push, or they need to make something happen. Because otherwise, yeah, BMG is going to take us over. I mean, I shouldn't say take over, though, because, I mean, do you remember last game from yesterday? I mean, BMG, what were they sitting on Prisoner and stuff, and they were, yeah, constantly winning team fights, even though they didn't have that late game option. But, well, at one point, I mean, it still came to an end. Sync Esports won the game.
Yeah, that's right. That game, too. I mean, there was definitely a game of, well, BMG especially, making some overcommitments into the base. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as well, and keep an eye on that as far as when the teams start interacting with the base. Speaking of that, though, they only have 2 tower kills on BMG. So that's also something to really look at there I almost think it's a positive for them, to be frank, because that means there's still a lot of gold to even be had in their favor at this point. So, Sync Esports, they are going to try to push the middle lane a little bit. You see, look at Hanskin right here. He's sitting in the mid tower. He's going to come out of it right there. Puzzle Box is picked up by him, by the way. It is level 1 currently. See if he gets the opportunity to use that effectively. But destroying the catapult, and Sync is not going to give up just yet, though. Oh, is Doctor going to be going in? Yes, he is! They're going to be jumping the Parasite right here. Response from Magnus as he stuns him, protecting Melody to save Parasite. Initially off the bat, Science comes out front, off for Magnus. He gets the eruption out of the background, though. Dr. Pulser's completely out of mana back here. Xibbe's also putting on his damage now as Kraken gets the charge out, but Dr. Pulser goes down to Magnus simply with auto attacks. However, Balfagor finishes off in the background. Chipper, as now Revenant is on the run, but it's just Magebane somehow. Balfagor doing a lot of work in the background. He got a double tap, and actually the silence on a Magebane, perfect timing right there. It prevents him from blinking to finish Revenant. Is going to go for the kill. No, he's not, and he gets a deny at least, I guess, but wow. I mean, it seemed like BMG was looking good with Dr. Pulser being locked down right away.
This is crazy. These two key teams are, I mean, it's action all over the map. I mean, you can't take everything into consideration. I mean, one fight is going on at the bottom of this tower, and one is going on top between the base tower and the secondary tower. Just so much crazy stuff going on all the time. And I mean, these two teams, they're so confident in their friends and their players that they know where they are. I mean, and I don't know how they're communicating. I mean, every single team has different ways of communicating, but they're doing it so well. I mean, they know exactly when to back out, when to go in, and what to do and who to focus. So it's incredibly fun to see these two teams.
Yeah. As we expected, we're getting a hell of a grand finals here, and again, this is just game number 1. Obviously, yes, Sync is up 1 game to nothing, but if you've been around Haunter, you should know by now they have the 1-0 advantage as they're coming from the winner brackets compared to BMG, who's obviously coming from the losers bracket final. So, 28 minutes in, though. You see what continues to just be a game where you feel like you may start to be leaning towards one team, not so much. And that's just how it tends to be with this series, especially. So Magebane, though, Shrunken Head is just around the corner. Obviously going to be big. Chipper doesn't have Acolyte staff here. It's going to be working on finishing a Sheep Stick in the meantime.
Yeah, take a quick look at the GPM mark, or GPM tab now as well. That's a bit surprising.
Wow, yeah.
Magebane is actually above a Doctor now, and Balfagor is leading.
It's also just a very nice GPM chart altogether. I mean, both teams are actually, it's like a good even chart right there on both sides. So
perfect.
Yeah, near perfect at least. But yeah, Magebane being even 30 gold per minute higher than Dr. Pulsar. This could be better because Dr. Pulsar going to be locked down. Science comes out from Parasite. Magebane with the follow mana rift. It's not going to be the most damage, but it was enough as he used it just in time before he ulted away. And now they go right to Kongor. Doctor does have a buyback, but it would be so riskier, of course, and that would really continue to set him back. So this is definitely going to be a Kongor kill for Bad Monkey Gaming right here.
Once again, I feel like it goes down to that item choice of his. I mean, that Health Flower, I mean, every single team fight he gets focused down. And, I mean, he should have been expecting this from the start of the game. And going for a squish item like that instead of an icon, for example, is really, like, hurting his levels and his farm, of course.
Oh, Balfagor, 3,900 gold saved up on him, nearly 4,000 now, so he is continuing to farm, but again, is Balfagor really that hero that could have a high impact with this much farm later on? Not really.
Yeah, I mean, he can get a sheepsake and a breastplate and still hits hard, but I mean, he still comes to a point where when the BKB start popping, for example, and yeah, all those late game items, he's just not going to be able to perform as like a Doctor would have been with the same farm and levels.
This is interesting. Magnus finds him. Again, he is, well, I think it goes without saying, very tanky. Oh, he's going to be tableted, actually. Yep, he went for the TP. Figured that was his best bet, but in his face, Magnus with that tablet was not going to let that happen. So easy kill on a Balfagor as a result of that. And, you know, that almost might go towards, I wonder if he's going to maybe look to even get something like a Shrunken Head. But again, that's not really a damage assistance. That's more so he just is able to freely roam around more and not be worried about stun and whatnot. But, so actually, the more I'm thinking about, probably not still, but big kill, though, for BMG coming out.
Wow, that damage is insane.
Oh,
Revenant.
yeah. Again, a secondary support Revenant, but Magebane's like, okay, I have the token, I resurrect. He almost went in right there.
He's actually higher experience per minute, and Dr. Repulsor right now slapped at this Revenant.
Yeah, wow.
And he's the secondary support. And that's the hard carry. That's that's not too good news for Sync Esports, unfortunately. I mean, sure, it's great. Revenant's having that farm. I mean, he can sure take off and deal some, very explosive damage in the late game as well. But I still think, I mean, he is farming every single camp here in the Sync Esports forest. I mean, he's letting Dr. Repulsor be kind of like second priority.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's the right way to go.
Especially transitioning to the later game. So again, like I brought up earlier, that 40-minute mark is going to be a key, and we are, getting closer. Still 9.5 away, but getting definitely closer to it. Keizu, how about that choice? Sword of the High. We're going to be seeing a Mock of Brilliance here. That's not an item we see nowadays.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Mock of Brilliance this late into the game, though? I guess it's scaled. I mean, sure, it scales very good with his hero, but that mock item, it's kind of like a. If I can get it early on, it's an amazing item. Like if I have the money for it early on, then yes, always go for it because there's no better item to actually farm. But as soon as you get to the BKB stage, then it's completely worthless. It is a farm item. It's not necessarily too much of a damage item. You can see it picked up by Parasite now as well. He's just running around in that creep non-stop and dealing magic damage for the mock. But yeah, number one, it's a farming item, not a damage item. So yeah, a little bit confused actually seeing him go for that. And I assume that it's not the Doombringer, so.
No. maybe it's the whole strat of I get a Doombringer, I kill myself, Doctor picks it up, and we go from there.
Yeah, but who's gonna kill him? I mean, he's so fat. I think he can almost beat Kongor in 1v1 fight nowadays.
That's a good point, actually. So probably not gonna happen. Granted, you just drop all your items in that case, probably. No, but that's too next level. There you go. Mock of Brilliance.
It's the mock.
Gonna be coming out here indeed. As
sweet.
Safely
it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, that's not an item that we see too often anymore. So I'm not too much experience with it myself. So it's gonna be fun to see if he has a plan with this.
Yeah. I think it's almost going to be turning into this to me is Sync being in desperation mode. Honestly, it's what, let's get a Mock of Brilliance to Balfour, get some good damage coming out from him, AOE presence. Let's make a push with that and see what happens. Because again, the longer they wait, they know it. I know it. We all know it. Mage Bane will eventually get to that very hard-hitting late game potential that you just can't compete with, especially with your lineup. But this is not going to help. Dr. Pulsar, okay, he's going to be fine. The chase continues though. Balfagor. No, he's going to be fine too. They used Dust right there just in case Revenant or somebody else in business nearby, but wasn't the case. So a little bit of kind of poking in there, seeing what's up, but not really the most harm done in the end. Blessed Orb picked up by Mage Bane, so could be one of many items, of course, but probably leaning towards a Geometer's Bane.
Yeah, I think that's a great tool against the Balfagor Silence, especially.
True. Yeah, we've been seeing that.
I think it takes that off.
Yeah. I don't see
and it can also push you out of the release Kraken, if you're lucky.
True that.
You can actually use it also if you're inside a firewall, and you can land outside.
Oh yeah, sounds like several cases. Yeah, no.
It's pretty sweet. I mean,
probably not why you would get it in the end, but it's a nice benefit.
No.
Yeah.
Still,
if it happens.
It's the small things.
But I mean, Mage Bane's one thing. You also look at Magnus, 4,000 gold saved up. There you go. He actually buys a Shrunken Head. The Sheepstick's obviously been finished on Zebby for a little bit. He also even has another 2,600 gold on top of that. I actually wanted to get your thoughts on that. I mean, he actually chose this over the Staff of the Master route. Do you think the Sheepstick is just the correct choice?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like the Staff of the Master is usually the kind of hero or the kind of item that you want to go for. First of all, when you want a little bit more survivability. But in this particular case, I mean, Magnus, Parasite, and Mage Bane is always going to be in front of him. And he went for that tablet, and Astro, so he's going to go for a little bit more of a supportive role and stand back in the team fights. And on top of that, there are no really any BKBs up on Sync Esports quite yet. And when I say that, I actually see a BKB on to Kraken, but he got a charge anyway. And yeah, that's usually the kind of item that you want to go versus late game carries and stuff like that, because it slows through the BKB.
Mm-hmm. Middle lane, you saw Magnus right there kind of having fun a little bit, getting some good information against Sync Esports as far as using these illusions, but nothing really big happening. Instead, BMG will just now start to group up and push, so what I thought may have been Balfour getting that mock and being Sync being, let's just make a move. It's actually BMG is the one that's going to really starting to turn it on here. I doubt they're going to go all out, obviously, and simply waiting for another Conger kill, waiting for Mage Bane to get even fatter is always good as well, but keeping Sync occupied. is clearly what they're doing right here. Or, whoa, Parasite's going to be jumped, actually, protected Melody. Oh, he gets it off. No, he's stunned, though. And down goes Parasite. Rhapsody also in a bad spot. She ends up going down. Mageman in the background. They take out Revenant. Will this work out, though? Chipper, he's collapsed on. Eruption's being channeled. Eruption goes off. Hell on Newith comes down, but BMG is too strong with their final two. Mageman and Magnus doing work. A genocide for Bad Monkey Gaming. The mana rift from Mageman was huge. The eruption from Magnus was huge. And even though they lost their 3 teammates, it was more than enough to get the job done.
Oh yeah, they invested a lot in those kills, but it was still a good attempt by Sync Esports, of course. I mean, they should definitely be using all those spells to get those heroes down, but at the same time, I mean, that eruption going on off on Magnus was just so beautifully placed. It was right above the clip, so it wasn't in vision, but at the same time, he was hitting the entire Sync Esports squad, and they just melted in seconds.
Yeah, and I want to say the mana rift was big too. I honestly didn't even see it being casted or go off, but they were dropping pretty quickly all of a sudden. I think that had a lot to do with it. So
yeah, it might be.
That's obviously the thing to keep in mind about mana rift. It's yes, it's great for the single target, but it does do the AOE effect, obviously, in terms of the explosion there. What is the radius on that? It's something like 325. So it's pretty small, but still, if they're clumped up like they were right there, that's.
Then it's gonna hurt.
Moment. It is gonna hurt,
especially if it's casted on a Doctor Repulsor.
Oh yeah, you brought up from the beginning. So he now has 5,000 gold. So really, the store's open to him.
Wow, what's he gonna go? Is he gonna go for Geometer Spain, or is he? Yeah, sometimes when you get like much gold, you're like,
change
okay, maybe
mind,
I should just go for something different after all. But yeah, okay, going for Geometer Spain. Maybe a Conquer attempt. Oh, never mind, Conquer's not up yet.
Yeah, kind of hard to do that without him, but.
Yeah.
Might be up soon,
I mean,
though.
I guess you can stand there and wait for him, but
should be in the next couple of minutes, most likely, even sooner, that he will be up. You do see BMG kind of controlling that area. Ward aside, place down at the pit. They push out the middle lane, so yeah, Sync, it's one thing with the mock pickup and trying to maybe make something with that, but now, even with the shrunken head on Dr. Repulsor, still not looking the best for Sync Esports as far as their chance here. Around this GPM of Jonas and Fan, which is 475 gold per minute, they're 8-1 apparently.
Look at Mageman, he blinked straight into Sync Esports squad.
He has a blink out, they're not jumping him though. He's going to be able to blink again. They go right now, but he has that blink up, but it doesn't matter! Wow! Well, there you go. That's what Sync needed.
But look, BMG is chasing. Or?
Yeah, they're going to
They're in
try.
this again, though.
So the Parasite comes out of the puzzle box, says, gotcha! And they're just going to try to run away as Sync. He's going to be able to successfully
be able to hit someone with the rockets. I mean, he certainly did yesterday.
Yep.
On that Tempest, if you
They
remember.
find Glacius. Oh, yeah, I do remember. Yep. No, they find Kraken. Sheepstick comes out. He's going to be spotted. He most likely would. Oh, my God, he's somehow still alive in the background. Here comes the supporting cast now. This is a big chance for Sync Esports if they can turn things around. Chipper in the background. He's being pulled in. They get the kill around. But another eruption from Super KGE. Onto several heroes. They get the kill on Kraken finally. Balfcore obviously still well alive though, but look at Dr. Pulsar. He was out of mana, and I'm pretty sure the puzzle box mana burn had something to do with that as well. Balfcore will kill Chipper. Magnus also nearly falling. Balfagore's scary, man. He's got that mock on top, and just in general, the demonic pathogen, is that going to be enough? I believe so. Oh, it just wears off, so it doesn't last too long. And he actually takes out one of the creeps. He heals up. Magnus! Oh my God! No!
Magnus!
No, Magnus! Oh my God! Super KG goes down. He's regretting that right away.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. He tried to save his teammate, but he underestimated the power of those minions. Well then, I mean, big picture, BMG is still in a pretty good spot, but signs of life at least for Sync, and making a statement that, well, we're not going to give in just yet. We still have hope ourselves. But
Yeah,
where...
it's definitely time to turn this one around. I mean, it's not over. I mean, Balfagor, I mean, he is scary. I mean, even though he's not necessarily the late game kind of hero, I mean, he is going to be a problem if he keeps farming at this rate. And when he hits that BKB, or not BKB, Demonic Breastplate, I mean, that's going to help him quite a bit against Mageman as well.
Yeah. So you just continue to farm here. 3,300 gold saved up on him. And then bottom lane, Revenant kind of pushing that out. And you mentioned that earlier, and we are seeing the progression of Slapped here on Revenant. Only 212 gold per minute, but obviously 40-plus minutes in, he's trying to get some decent items here. Hellflower in the works. Kongor attempt kind of coming out. here by BMG, but they quickly fall back as soon as they see Sync Esports pushing in and trying to make something happen. So Minions kind of scudding it out too, but BMG again, they can play this safe. And I wonder if BMG realizes how much of a lead they actually do have. Because honestly, especially with the way that last fight went and how Sync's playing, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they think this is still a very even game, honestly.
No, definitely. They definitely think that. Sure, they feel like they are in a pretty confident spot, but yeah, especially when you're the head of a Suicide Mage Bane with 450 GPM and it's closing in and getting those full slotted. Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, they definitely don't have the numbers that we have, and I feel like they fear the Dr. Repulsor and definitely the Balfagor a lot more than maybe they should, or at least the Dr. Repulsor. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a very determining fight, though, this Conqueror kill.
Yep, this could really help us see where this game's at. Balfagor charging in right off the bat, kind of getting a feel for what's going on. Parasite harasses a little bit.
Out. They can just wait for that to run out, then they got a huge lead in the team fights, or... Okay, that's pretty good for them, actually.
Yeah, they're delaying. Dr. Pulse says, screw it, it's time. He goes in. They jump Mage Bane. They're going to go for the first kill. Won't it be enough to support? No, he gets a sugar it off. He blanks away, and now Sync Esports, they might be in some trouble. Dr. Pulse in the background, he's completely out of mana, so don't really looking for him to do much else. That mana rift, look at his life just melt away right there. No one knew it comes out the... Oh, the Technical was a second late. Mage Bane actually falls right there. He buys back immediately, though, and so Sync Esports going to try to retreat. Balfagor does go down with Glacius already dead, but the rest will actually get out of there, pending any buybacks that happen, which I don't believe they did. So, but now Kongor is going to be dropping here most likely. Doctor's going to go for a ninja. He is. He's going to go for it. He's trying. He has a regenerate. Oh, it doesn't work, though.
My. I think he's going to fall now, though. He's out of mana. Yeah, he's dead.
He's out of mana. The rocket nearly hit as well. And Flensmeister, it was fun. It was fun to watch, but you, sir, are dead. Most likely. There we go. Magma Stun's in. That should do it. Holy crap. Again, Sync's doing their best to really make this interesting and actually have a shot, but BMG just continues to just come out on top and be enough of a lead.
Yeah, they're definitely closing in on victory here in game number 1, but Sync Esports, like you said, is up one game from coming from the winner bracket.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, pointed that out earlier, too, where it's a case of, at the same time, so Sync being up 1-0. I'm not sitting here saying that they're just like, oh, well, we can lose our first game, so it's not a big deal. You want to win the games and get the series over with if possible, but they do have that to fall back on. But really, with the win here for BMG, it basically resets it to a best out of 3. That's the easiest way to look at it at 0-0. So, but it will be 1-1 here in a best out of 5 going into the next game if BMG holds on. Sync is one last fight here, most likely. You see right there, Kraken goes for an initiation, but it doesn't really do the best. And another melee Rax goes down, so gotta wonder if they're just kind of maybe just talking about this right now and seeing where things went wrong and perhaps planning out their next game here.
Yeah, if there's one thing that stands out to me, that is that the Hellflower pickup by Dr. Repulsor. Them seeking team fights and him still going for that squishy item, that's like, if I have to point to something, I mean, both teams have been playing really damn amazing, especially in those team fights, the coordination and the gank attempts and everything has been spot on. But if it's one thing that stands out, I think it's the fact that Dr. Repulsor, he died first of every hero in like, 3 team fights or something.
It seems like he's been out of mana too very quickly in the fights, and I don't know if that's because of Mage Bane or if that's just because he's constantly flying around. Oh, Kraken gets caught right here by Xebe. Magma's done to follow, and, well, they're just going to clean them up. So, again, Sync just trying to be sneaky here, doing what they can, but clearly it's looking like BMG going to be taking game number 1 here, and we're going to be tied at 1 game apiece as a result.
Yeah, the teams know that it's over by now. They're just, you know, running around a little bit, trying to melt their feelings, or
understand
in a
where
way,
it's
I guess.
So Suicide Balfagor, it was fun to watch, and again, I see the potential. Honestly, he can kind of stand his ground to an extent, being up there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this kind of hero pop up as far as the Suicide.
No, it was very tricky by BMG though, replacing Magnus, or sending Magnus to the top lane, kind of screwed him over a little bit. But still, yeah, Kills has been playing amazing this hero. I would love to see Sync Esports pick him up even in the future, or other teams as well, of course.
Doctor jumping in. Again, they kind of the overtime stay here, padding those stats, more so as BMG Mage Band, he probably will fall, but guess what? He's got a token of life, so he probably likes that in the end. He comes right back up, protecting Melody to save the day if that was needed. If anything, down goes Balfagor. And probably now we will see the GGs coming out here from Sync Esports, unless they really still think they got a chance.
Well, Mishbin did die now in the well, so...
That's true.
There's
always a chance.
Okay,
never mind. And then Flensmeister feeds. And then that happens.
A Legion barracks has been destroyed.
Planning for next game, but it is going to be a victory for BMG, it looks like, and again, so that'll tie the series at 1. And we'll go into the next game here as soon as this one is officially over. Both teams trying to claim the Cycle 1 champion title here for Han Tour Season 3 and get off to a good start. There we go. There's a vote to concede. GG, well played.
Oh, Shipper running.
He lives. Zibby actually lived. 15, 3, and 14 Shipper. Not too bad. That's what Zibby does, though, on that hero.
Yeah, the Shipper was spot on, to say the least. I don't think it was a single mistake in that game. Just close to perfection. Very interesting game overall, and I'm sure that covering games are going to be